It is, holy shit, Tuesday, September 16th, 2025, 7:32 p.m. sharp. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hit Notes Overdose Football Fix podcast. I am one of your lovely hostesses, the Garlic Johnson. We are joined, as always, by our other lovely hostess, the Joshua Mitchell. Josh, how ye day?
Was there another letter? I was waiting for you to finish it. I thought I only heard the D. I was waiting for the and.
Nah, just how you day. That's all you get.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, how are you, Gar?
I can't decide if that's you gassy or that's you congested.
But congested. It only took you two guesses. Allergies are going around the house, and I know probably shouldn't have played softball with Al this year, but got allergies now. So.
Oh no! Oh, not the allergies.
Yep. How about you, Gar?
Oh, I'd say I'm doing just fine and dandy. Neck's a little sore. Did end up taking 2 of 3 guillotines, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But Glenn's in here, and I know Glenn isn't going to care about anything else we're talking about. He just wants to hear me embarrass myself. And yes, Glenn, I did get kicked out of my own league at the first possible moment, so thank you. But no.
Yeah, you really ruined my season-long plans. I was going to have a nice little, because we're in 2 guillotine leagues, I was going to have a nice little guillotine segment in here, but what do you know? Open up the app and just Garlic's head rolling around.
I mean, I'm still in J-Wow's guillotine league. Does that count? I'm
not in that one. It doesn't matter.
I mean, we could still do a guillotine segment. I'll still do it.
They kicked me out for being so good.
Is that what happened? But yeah, otherwise, no, I'm doing good. We're making some changes in the old basement dweller layer down here. You know that, so obviously there's like the living room where we always watch the Super Bowl. Then there's that other side of the room that no one ever goes in, and it's just a dark pit of depression. Well, we've gotten rid of all the extra...
Are you adding a slide?
There is a slide. There's going to be a fire pit, and next to the ball pit, one of them is filled with spikes. Who's to say which one? But no, so there was a lot of extra furniture over there. There was 2 extra couches. There was a total of 6 extra tables in that room. We got rid of all that junk. So now you can actually go over there and enjoy the fireplace. I also got a little mini fridge down there. Got a little microwave, a little snack station. So, I'm never leaving this basement ever again. I'm ready for the American Civil War. Too fast, too furious, Too civil, too war.
There we go. Awesome.
But yeah.
Oh, that's great. So has Range approved? Have you been able to get the permits to have the food to shoot? So all Range has to do is open the fridge and toss dinner down to shoot to you?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It goes into a blender, and then it comes out like a little mush. It's, imagine the hamster bottle, but it has a little more power to move all that non-nutritional slop through. And that's, I just go up and take a slurp. In between Xbox matches of various games. But yeah, no, so it's been nice. It actually, I'm sure it's how spring cleaning feels, but I'm doing it in the fall for whatever reason. But that feels nice to get a bunch of shit out of here. Probably gonna go donate the couches and stuff later this week. But that's been my week. Josh is sick. I'm rearranging my basement. That's enough about us. Josh, you want to talk football?
Yep, I'm a little disappointed Glenn left. He's probably never going to listen to this podcast because I was really proud about my next segment. As people know, I'm a big fan of words. Can't spell football without words, And I'm just I came up with this thinking, we're talking real football. We have our favorite teams, so we're going to go with our Homer highs and our Homer dough.
Oh,
Homer
no.
Does. A play on lows. So the highs and lows for the past week Homer teams. Would I have come up with this in a season where the Packers started 0-2? Probably not. But how many words can I make out of the word football? All of them, because those are the only words I need to know. Football. But my Packer high, and I'm just picking one. Tucker Kraft is a manimal. I've been slowly on that always up escalator since early last year. 6 receptions, 124 yards, and a touchdown. Not to mention the guy he threatens to burn homes down of opposing players, or threatened to burn down childhood homes of his opposing players. He's just fun to watch. There's a little scare. Thought maybe he got hurt. It's non-contact, but I assume he just kind of went over to the sideline and said, nah. But then my Packer Doe, we're first-round wide receiver. We drafted a first-round wide receiver. He's got 4 targets all year or something like that. Just using him on end arounds. What is this? Cordell Patterson, except he's small. So I'd like to see a little bit more involvement, but without Jaden Reed, it's a possibility. Gar?
Yeah, so I mean, well, first, I have a question for you, first of all. Do you think Tucker Kraft, like, I'm not trying to doubt his natural talent. I'm not trying to say he's not a talented tight end and, receiver of the foosball. Do you think he would be near as good if there was any good receivers on your team?
I mean, I still think he'd be good, but I don't think he'd be getting as much, probably not as much involvement. I mean, his name is Kraft Yak and Cheese, so he gets the yak, the yards after catch for the Walterses of the group. Yeah, I do think, I mean, obviously if it was like a Devontae situation and Rodgers, probably wouldn't be getting the ball as much. So yeah. Gart, I limited it to 1 because I didn't know if you'd be able to come up with more than 1 for the Vikings, but you can go ahead and try.
1 was a struggle. Yeah, Vikes high. There's not a lot of highs going around Minnesota right now in regards to our football team. I guess one of the highs could have been that 1 quarter that J.J. McCarthy played good out of the 8 total he's played. That was kind of cool. He got voted for NFC Player of the Week last week when he shouldn't have been. So that was cool. But yeah, otherwise, things are not inspiring out of School Town these days. The Vike high I actually wrote down was Wentz comeback season. I'm convinced that Wentz is going to complete his arc where he had carried a team all the way through a regular season and then got hurt in the playoffs. Then, of course, Nick Foles goes on to win the Super Bowl. I'm thinking this is kind of a reverse situation where now he is going to carry our whole team and then win the Super Bowl with us. So I kind of like that for us.
Is there any place you'd rather be, Gar?
Yes, anywhere but here. No, obviously, we can talk a little bit. We can get into a little bit more of the X's and O's, but it has not looked promising. That J.J. McCarthy can't throw left appears to still be true, so that's fun. He's Zoolander. And then for the Vikes dough, yeah, I guess I said everything else. I'm already in it a little bit.
No!
Oh, that was not as good as I thought it would be.
No!
There we go. Yeah, things, I don't know, the defense is okay. But yeah, offense uninspiring, and I hope I hope Wentz can just put a little gunslinger-esque out there. I don't care if he throws an interception or 2 as long as he's actually moving the ball, because it feels like JJ only has 2 or 3 really good passes out of 2 games, which is not great. And of course he's young, and I'm not familiar with college, Josh. I'm not familiar with like actual redshirt rules. Do redshirt players still practice and stuff, or they just like sit there for a year and do nothing?
They practice.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think so. If I were to have a pet peeve right now about just Vikings fans on Reddit,
should be good.
He's not a rookie. I mean, everybody's saying he's a rookie quarterback. No, he's a first-year starter. Yes, but just because he didn't play last year doesn't mean he's a rookie this year. I don't know why people are assuming that, but he's still in the building. He's going through the rehab. Yeah, if he got hurt and went back to Michigan and just hung out there for a year, that's different, but he didn't. So it's not like he's new to the system. He had a full year learning everything.
I mean, he had a full year learning, but he didn't have he wasn't taking reps. He wasn't on the practice field. Like, I'm not,
Right, but I mean, Jordan Love, granted, he wasn't hurt. Is he a rookie when he first becomes a starter? Because he hadn't seen, game action early. But it's not, grant that is a very different situation. I'm not saying that. But, it's just, I don't know. The copium was high on Reddit after last week's game is all I got to say.
I don't know. To me, the distinction is the practice. Like, if he was taking reps, Like even if he was just running the scout team or something all last year, I would say that's different than only doing tablet work and classroom work. And I don't know. I do think there is a
He was doing
difference
the
there.
virtual reality.
That's okay. You're telling me because I'm good at Madden, I can go play football?
Well, that's not virtual reality. That's Madden.
You can play Madden in virtual reality.
Yeah, but do you?
I'm poor.
Tell me about it.
I mean, I would say he's 3/4 of a rookie, but I'm not going to sit here and argue with you because you bring enough negativity to my life, Josh, every day in the Discord. So I'm not going to have that argument.
What are you talking about? If I were you, I would have had my Vikes high be the memes that are coming out of this because I've seen some really good Step Brothers memes, when they're going through the interview and Seth Rogen's like, the tuxedos are a little bit effed up now after he farts during that interview.
Yep.
And it was, the war paint's a little effed up now. And I lost it.
There you go. Al's got the copium you're looking for. The one thing I'm not trying to be a dick to JJ McCarthy, but as soon as I heard he had an ankle injury, I was like, that sounds fake. Like that's my one tinfoil hat thing. I was like, there's no way they just benched him or something.
Kevin O'Connell was hanging out at the house waiting for him to put the baby down and said, "Hey, come look at this staircase, buddy."
Yeah, and so I don't genuinely believe that. I'm not trying to hate on an injured player or anything, but it's just you didn't. There was not a narrative in the game. Like you didn't hear anything about that because it happened during the game, right? You didn't see anything.
None of the
announcers
were
talking about it. No report. I'm sorry. What was that?
He went and got taped up in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. I heard about that after. I don't even feel like I remember seeing that. Now maybe there was too many tears in my eyes at that point, but I couldn't see clearly. But no, so I don't know. As soon as I saw that headline, I was like, he's not hurt. They're just benching the bad kid. But I don't believe that. But yeah, things are bleak. But otherwise, we didn't talk about football last week, and so I guess just you're riding the Packers train pretty high. What do you think realistically? If you can be a homer for sure, but also realistically, like, are you buying the high of these first two games, or you just think it's a hot start? Like, how are you feeling as a true Packers fan right now?
Well, I'm trying to be a true Packers fan by knowing that the rug is going to get pulled out from underneath me at any moment. So whether or not that's just like a fourth quarter injury to Jordan Love's knee again, or it's a Josh Jacobs injury or Tucker Kraft or Micah Parsons, whatever, it's going to happen at some point. Season's long, so we're already down 2 starting offensive linemen, but from the sounds of it, so is every team in the NFL. And so
there's been a lot of lineman injuries.
A lot of lineman injuries this year. So I'm riding it as high as I can. Now, if they were to stay healthy and they keep playing games like they did the first 2 weeks, we're not talking about a three-peat. We're talking about, do we just stop playing the game because we're too good?
Right.
They've been dominant, almost dominant on both sides of the ball. Defense, yes. Only 3 touchdowns allowed. 3 of them in garbage time, essentially, or 2 of them in garbage time. Offense has left a little bit on the table, but they're not, they're not tasked to do a whole lot if the defense is doing what they're doing.
So I've not watched much of the Packers game, so I'm not saying this as like a hateful thing. I'm not trying to rain on your parade, but like, is Matthew Golden not that good? Is he taking a little bit longer to, like, I thought all the reports out of the camp were like, this guy's a stud, this guy's great. But then at least certainly from a fantasy perspective, and I think from like a box score perspective, I've not seen much on the Golden train. You think he's just taking a little while, or what's the story there out of Wisconsin?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he's not running a lot of routes. They have some plays designed just for him. So we'll see what this Reed injury leads to, if they change the game plan around a little bit. He's gotten some runs out of the backfield, but so is Savion Williams, who is the 3rd-round receiver that we took, who's also the kick returner. But we'll see what happens. I do feel like they're just kind of slowly adding him in. He's not it would be nice to have him pop off like Tet and M'Baka, but that hasn't happened yet, and so we'll see.
Gotcha. Okay. So, but there's no panic in Josh yet about the slower start of Matthew Golden.
Nope, not yet.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Oh, there you go. Would you trade for Golden in Dynasty?
I mean, I'm trying to unload my older players, so taking a quarterback that's 1 year younger that's not going to be playing for this year probably isn't the best bet for me. But no, Al, probably not.
Okay,
Plus, I
so
already have 2 Packers wide receivers. Well, it was going to explode anyways, Al. I'm just going to let it explode.
not if Joe Burrow wasn't involved in the trade, would you be trying to buy low on Matthew Golden right now? If there were some owners that were panicking, like this guy stinks, I need to get rid of him while he still's worth something, would you go buy Matthew Golden or no?
Potentially. But like I said, I already got 2 Packers wide receivers. I probably don't need a whole lot more.
Just rack up the whole
Or 2
squad,
Packers
brother.
skills players. Yeah. Yeah.
We're probably good to move on then, unless you had any other Packers news. I just wanted to pick your brain for a moment. Obviously, everyone here knows everything about the Vikings, so I think it's nice to get a little bit of the Packer side of it. Josh, so we're bringing back a host favorite segment.
You know, I had to go back into the annals of Hidden Oaks Overdose football fix history to find this. It has been 4 years since we've had an announcement of Fan Tasty Zone, and that's what we're doing right now. Granted, my current snacks are boogers because my allergies are so bad, but and they're not by choice, people. Grow up. But yeah, we're bringing back the Fan Tasty Zone. Crack open that nice Arizona tea.
So good and tasty.
I didn't know what that was going to be. I just looked up Sounders. What about this one?
That
Tasty.
There we go.
You know, that's a very weird sounding can opening, but I like it.
That's how it sounds today. But yeah, we got the Fan Tasty Zone brought to us by, I already cracked it because I was thirsty as shit. Zero sugar Mountain Dew Baja Blast, that beautiful tropical lime flavor. I've got a Chex Mix peanut butter chocolate bar. It's a delicious treat I picked up at Sam's Club. And then for you, Josh, I had a couple loose one of these because I went to Olive Garden yesterday. I have 2 Andes Mints. So that's I'm rolling deep for the Fan Tasty Zone today for the comeback.
Nice. I was gonna try and hold off and have an apple with peanut butter and chocolate chips, but I got really hungry after my dinner, so I had that like an hour ago. Wasn't gonna wait.
Gotcha. All right, Josh. What are we doing here in the Fan Tasty Zone? You brought it back. Tell me where to go.
Well, now we're just going to do our weekly recap. I mean, it's just something we haven't talked about, but the Fan Tasty Zone, we always go over our grain of salt, folk listener.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what we're going to start with. We're going to discuss whether or not we are on a sodium-free saltine level of salt or a Bradley blood test level of salt. And right now, I'm somewhere in the middle. Once again, go 3-3. Got wins in the Victoria's Secret and the median in Victoria's Secret. Lost in Deflate These Balls, the Redraft League, and Hidden Oaks Dynasty. I'm not counting the Champs Branch Out League because it's now a win. But using the intellectual property of Joshua Allen Bunker Incorporated, I finished 35-24 for the second week in a row.
Wow, Josh. And so obviously you like to be doom and gloom. Last week you were very doom and gloom. So you have the same record. The only difference being you really beat the median. You swapped Deflate These Balls and the median in Victoria's Secret. Are you still just as doom and gloom? Are you ready to quit fantasy? Are you retiring, or how are we feeling?
I am retiring from Hidden Oaks because I don't know, whatever voodoo, witchcraft, magic spell you put on me in that league, I can't score more than 100 points to save my life, and I don't like it. It's a half-point PPR, half-point first down, and I can't score 100 points to save my life.
All I had to do
put up
was
160. Put up 160 in Victoria's Secret. Can't put up 100 in Hidden Oaks.
All I had to do was say you had the best draft, and this is where it got me.
Yep. So, Gar, how salty are you?
I am much more salty than I was last week. You know, from a Fan Tasty Zone perspective, yeah, I'm just give me a fucking liter of salt, ionized even. I went 2-5 this week, and as I alluded to before, I got chopped in 2 of my 3 guillotine leagues. Scoring was up in the NFL. It was a crazy week from like a big play perspective, and I just did not own many of those stocks. Going 2-5 in a week like that is quite the wake-up call of if a lot of weeks are like that. If the exciting weeks in real football means that I'm going to have a terrible fantasy experience, That's not going to be a fun season for me. And so I'm hoping that's just a fluke of a week. And I just happen to have almost none of the players who really popped off for the 30s and 40s of points. But yeah, I went 2-5 in the 2 leagues I won in, the 2 leagues I lost in last week. So it's just a complete inverse of my first week. I don't know, Josh. And then, like, it wasn't even that close for me getting chopped or not in Champs Branch Out. And now I have to think about what the future of that league means. Am I going to run a league next year I don't even play in? I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But being the first one chopped in Champs was not on my to-do list, or was not on my my range of possibilities when I was considering how things would go. So that was terrible.
Do better.
What's up?
Do better.
Yeah, when 2-5, like I said, using the intellectual property Joshua Allen Bunker Incorporated, if I were to play every team in every league, I would have gone 33-60. That's a 35.5 win percent. Just absolute dog shit. I had 2 offers. I had an 0-9 and an 0-17. And then a 1-8. Oh my god. I had 9-0. I had 1 high score, which I think nets me $10 or $20 in that league. So that's the one bright spot. I might already be money up in 1 league. Shout out. Which, by the way, I haven't said anything about it because I guess I've been ignoring it. But you're $10 up because of the $10 you won in Champs last week. So that's nice. But yeah, a very Al is actively trying to get you to trade on the air, and I love it. But I had an abysmal fantasy week, and I hope it's not like that for the rest of the season because I hated it. Josh is now looking at his phone to get the trade. Josh, can Al either type in the chat or Josh just announce it over the waves? What's the trade? Let's just
Josh
talk the
Allen
trade.
It was Josh Allen and Bill for Matthew Golden, Cam Ward, and 2026 first, likely a late first.
Right. Interesting. How's that make
I already
you feel?
declined it.
Oh, how does that make you feel? And you're like, instant no. Is it you just don't want to give up Josh Allen?
Got
I'm
some
assuming.
other things in the hopper.
What's that?
I've already got some other things in the hopper.
Oh, you've been working on some trades, huh?
Hmm.
You mean the annoying method of posting your players on the trade block every 3rd day is actually netting you some interest from people?
Yeah, people are just saying, you know what? I will trade with you if you shut the hell up.
It only makes me less likely to trade with you. I was like, if this guy doesn't fucking stop, I'm over it.
Well, see, half of those. So the first time, a couple of the players got taken off for some reason, and this time I just went through and put everybody on my team that's over like 22 years old on the trade block. So they're staying there. We'll see if we'll see what happens. Who knows? Maybe this week I'll turn it around and I'll have some guys that pop off again.
Then it's what I'm hearing you say though is that you think it's time for you to blow things up and deflate these balls. You're kind of over it and you want to invest in the draft.
Yes.
Okay. In Dynasty, the worst place to be is the middle. You either want to be popping off or you want to be at the bottom to get those draft picks or those high draft picks. So I understand. I respect it.
Yep. Next piece, just still part of that weekly recap we've got. Figured that each week we could go through and we could talk about the play of the week or the player, who's the player that outscored their projection by the most. The dud of the week, opposite of the above. So, the player that did not score or the most points differential from their projection. Words are hard. I love words, but they're hard sometimes. And then the dumb sucker play, which is the highest scoring bench player. Or based on their projection. And so I didn't realize this as I was going through it, but it was all from the same game. Gar, I'm pretty sure you know which game it was.
No.
But Amon Ra was the player of the week with a 38.7 points, which was 23.26 over his projection. Derrick Henry was the dud of the week with 1.8 points, minus 18.47 of his projection. And then the dumb sucker was Romo Dunze, who put up 31.3 on Jesse's bench, which was 18.59 points over his projection. Gar, do you have anything to add before I go into the next bit?
Derrick Henry broke my heart. Derrick Henry's the reason I got chapped in Chance Branch Out. And I'm sure next week he'll pop off for 40. And I'm like, why'd he have to do me like that in week 2? That's what I want to know. What? They were winning that game. Why was Derrick? He had 1 fumble and they're like bench him. Like what? What happened with Derrick Henry? Can you tell me, Josh? Because I'm fucking devastated and I can't even understand what happened.
Yeah, they probably read the Discord where you said he's still king, and they're like, let's get this guy back on planet Earth. Lamar is king, and this guy doesn't deserve that.
Is that so?
Yep. But then the next one is one that's only applicable in some cases, but this is the matchup of the week, and it's spelled WEAK. This is going to be if two teams play each other, but neither of them win a median game. And that this week we had two teams score under 100 points. Jeremy with 99.45 gets one win for Brad, 98.15. Neither of them beat the median because both teams were weak.
Oh no. Come on, guys. Get your shit together.
Even I scored more than that. Didn't beat the median, but I scored more than that.
The median's for suckers, huh?
Yep. Next card, we're going to try something a little bit different. Probably a little bit more open to conversation. I know we're already at about a half an hour, but Al's already voiced off trades. He sent one in through. We're in a league that doesn't trade very much, if at all. I think one year me and Brian made a trade and dropped both players a week later. But this is going to be a closest to pin. So Al, you could appreciate this since you are a golfer. But I have three players, their current ranking, and then Fantasy Calc's current value. And what we're going to do is we're going to just come up with 1 to 2 players that we would suggest for a trade. And then we're going to look up the value of those players. Whichever one of ours proposals is closest, we'll kind of decide what side we'd want, whether we'd want the player A or the offer. Make sense?
I get it. So yeah, we're just trying to come up with a trade for the player you say. Gotcha.
Yeah. And it would have been very helpful if you'd have told me to open up the link for my bit.
Hey Josh, you idiot, open the link for your own bit that you created that I had nothing to do with. Run your shit.
Dad.
What's going to be the most interesting is that I did, more professional shows, unless you're the K fan and you're doing this to meat sauce, most professional shows probably would have both looked at the link to get a rough idea of what the player values are and make it interesting. I imagine I'm going to be wildly off with what my player evaluations are, and it's going to not be that close. So I'm very interested in how this goes.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll just call you Jack.
Oh, come on. Jack does it on purpose. I'll be doing it on accident. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I know. All right, so first off, we running back 15 on the year using the Hidden Oaks League scoring system. That is Bucky Irving. His current value is 6,665. Gar, 1 or 2 guys, who would you toss at Bucky?
Well, yeah, so I just want to ask, would it be more interesting if I pick 2 guys to try and make it even, or does it matter if I just go 1 for 1, or you don't really care that much?
I don't care that much. I mean, if you go 1 for 1, I wouldn't suggest a running back. Do something that would, you're trying to improve your running back spot. You're strong in one position. You just want to toss out some other players. Maybe you're strong in wide receiver, so you go 1 for 1 on that.
Okay. I will. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I just want to see how this player did in week 2 because I don't know what their stats were in week 2 off the top of my head. It'll only take me 5 seconds here. Just name. Okay, I'll do Zay Flowers.
Okay. So Gar is going to offer up Zay Flowers for Bucky Irving. I'm going to go with one that I had used as the example earlier, and I'm going to say I would offer up for Bucky Irving at this point in time probably like a Brian Thomas. Yeah, Brian Thomas and Bill.
Ooh, adding Krosky in there.
Yeah. So do we want to discuss this one now, or do we want to talk more? Go on to the next one.
I say let's make all the trades first, and then I think that'll maybe inform where our brain goes.
Okay, so go on to the next one.
Yes. Yep. Sorry.
Okay, next it's going to be the wide receiver 4 on the year, definitely outperforming his preseason projection. Rome Odunze. He is calc value of 2,665 at the time that I'd made this. So, Gar, who would you offer up for Rome Odunze?
And to be clear, this is a redraft valuation, or like?
Yeah.
I'll try and keep it as interesting as I can, and I'll say, what's their total fantasy score for the year? I'll say, okay. I'll say Patrick Mahomes.
Mahomers. Okay.
Because obviously
So
he's going to have a lot more total points, but he's a quarterback, so there's that positional discount. I'm interested how that shakes out.
See, and it's funny because I was looking at mine and I was going to say Patrick Mahomes' teammate. I was going to go with Travis Kelce.
Sure, do it.
Tight end is one of those spots where, Travis Kelce, despite being 900 years old and, on his way out, he's still top 6. So he'd be top half in the league. So that's who I was going to say. And then the last one we have is Breece Hall. Had a great first week. He's RB21 on the year, but he had a down week last week. Justin Fields is hurt, so who knows which Breece we're going to get. But his calc value at the time of doing this was 4,443.
Okay, I feel like I want to do a combo for this one, so I want to do 2 players here. I will throw in as one of the players for sure Harold Fannin, and then I want to add another. I'm thinking a cheaper running back than Breece Hall. I'll throw in. That's more difficult than I thought. I'll throw in a player that really popped. I'll keep the theme. 2 players that really popped off week 1 and then didn't do so hot week 2. We'll go Zach Charbonnet as the other running back.
Okay. For Breece Hall, probably Jahmyr Gibbs and Drake London.
Gibbs and London?
Yeah, I mean, I have Breece Hall, so that's probably what it would take for me to get. I'm just kidding.
That's crazy.
No,
I was just hearing right at first. I was like, "Is this dude insane?"
Well, I'm trying to talk up my players so somebody can make an offer.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was actually gonna say JSN. Just a team that's struggling. But wants to get like a receiver. Maybe another team doesn't have a running back or had Aaron Jones. So I was going to go JSN. And so I pulled up your value for the first 2. I haven't done mine yet, so bear with me here. This is something that probably would have been better with a little bit of not Bijan Robinson.
I mean, if you think it'll take you longer than 2 minutes, I can just pause recording. The only person who will suffer is Al, who's listening live, but no one else will be any the wiser.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah, okay, I'll pause for a sec. Actually, I started recording again while Josh is doing this, just to, if you want to play along at home, the 3 players we were creating trades for, and you can put in the chat. Bucky Irving was player number 1 we're creating a trade for. Roma Dunze was player number 2. And Breece Hall was player number 3 again. Bucky Irving, Roma Dunze, and Breece Hall, all with the redraft valuation, not dynasty. And with the power of production, we are back almost instantaneously for the listener. Josh, how are things looking?
It's looking good. So going back to that first trade, we had Bucky Irving at 6,665 value. You had offered up Zay Flowers with a value of 3138, and my Brian Thomas Jr. and Bill was 7,188. So being the closest one, which side of that trade would you rather have? BTJ and Bill or Bucky Irving?
Yeah, I mean, I think especially with Austin Eckler going on there, at this point I'd have to take BTJ and Bill. The only thing that gives me hesitance is that the Trevor and BTJ connection has been bad, and we've already seen Trevor Lawrence being sassy to Liam Cohen in week 2. I don't know if you saw that clip of, I know obviously
waving him off.
Things are intense in an NFL game and emotions run high, and men can squash things pretty easily afterwards, but it already appears, using the most dramatic interpretation, things already appear messy in Jacksonville. So that's what would scare me, is that BTJ and Trevor Lawrence are just not vibing in this new system. So that I would consider selling BTJ, but at what I perceive their value to be, I would have to take your deal.
So you would want to be BTJ and Bill?
Yes, sorry.
See, and I'm looking at the sky falling, his wrist injury. You know, the Washington offense, the Commanders might, or not the Commanders, Jaden Daniels might be out for a game or two. Not that that matters.
The
in the
whole
grand
team
scheme
is
of
going to be out.
fantasy. But I would rather go with Bucky just because he is a top tier running back. He's not necessarily performing as well, but he's getting his target set in their pass game. So I think that RB15, he'll probably finish as a top 10 RB, just based on my truthy gutness. So I would take Bucky, I guess, but I would say that is a fair trade all around, depending on team needs. Obviously, if you're sitting there and you have, blah, 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 blah. Drake London and Amon-Ra St. Brown as your two wideouts, like you got them at the turn somehow. You're not going to take that because you don't need a third running back. You're going to, wide receiver one, you're going to want to keep your running back one. But yeah, moving on to, or anything to add on that one?
Nope.
Moving on to the next one, Roma Dunze with his value of 2,665. Mahomes was a value of 2,538, and Kelsey was 2,133. Gar, yours was closest. Which side would you rather have?
Honestly, I would probably go Adunze, just because he's been popping off the first 2 weeks. That appears to be the only bright spot in that Bears offense. So I'd go Adunze, though Mahomes has seemed to be like he's going to finish top 5 quarterback, so that is usually pretty tasty as well. And I do believe there will definitely be a tier gap between the top quarterbacks and the rest of the field, like there has been the past couple years. And I think we're back to the age of having a good quarterback is not the only way to win a championship, but I think quarterbacks are back from a fantasy championship perspective. So Mahomes does look pretty tasty so far, but I'd go Roma Dunze right now, I think.
Yeah, Rome was one of the guys that I actually targeted in a lot of the drafts beforehand. I got him in the Victoria's Secret League. Did not get him in our league, unfortunately, but he is one that I would want to have as well. Mahomes finishes as a top 5 quarterback, but if Rome, finishes as a top 10 receiver, I'm not saying that he will. He's off to a very hot start. What's the gap between quarterback 5 and quarterback 10 versus wide receiver, 10 and wide receiver 20? I guess I don't know off the top of my head. It's probably pretty significant, and I'm not making much sense. So moving on to trade 3, Breece Hall, RB21, 4,443 value. You offered Fannin and Charbs, whose calc value is 1721. And I offered JSN, whose value is 5384. So who would you rather have, JSN or Breece Hall?
And of course, because I was stupid and I had all that time to not look up what JSN stats have been, I'm going to now do that really quick because I'm a bad...
I'll make it easy on you. JSN's going to be the pick.
Yeah, he's put up, at least in this league that I'm looking at, he's put up 20 points both weeks. He has double-digit targets both weeks, 9 and 8 receptions, over 100 yards. Yeah, JSN for sure. Sorry, Breece.
Yeah, Breece, you stink. All right, yeah, so I don't know if we want to keep doing something like that or do something a little bit different with it.
I think that's fun, and I think... I think that's good.
Facilitates discussion.
It does facilitate discussion. I also think it'd be interesting for our 3, or I shouldn't say, we have more listeners than we do participants, because I know Nikita listens, and sometimes I discount her because she does, she's not really in the chat or anything. But if we could have our 2 main chatters of Al and Walt, maybe we'll put out a reminder maybe next Monday or something to throw a couple players out there. It'd just be interesting if they put out a player and then we come up with trades for that player. I think it's a good way to get the fans involved as well. But no, I like this. So this is fun.
Fantasty Zone.
Oh, here we go.
Brought to you by Skybusters.
Oh, no. No, man, he doesn't give us money anymore. Fuck that guy. Just kidding. I love you, Brian. But yeah. All right. And so is that probably the closest we'll have to like a pod play along? Because I'm certainly not going to look into it, and I don't think you did. I know I saw you shared the Narfle link. You're doing that again this year?
That's different. It's like a weekly pick 'em. So it's like 50 people, and you can join anytime, and you do weekly picks based against the spread.
Gotcha.
I know you're in a few leagues like that, but I started doing that week 1, and yeah, figured I'd just toss that out there. Plus, if you look at the top 10, you'll see me about halfway down.
Wow, Josh. What's it like to be so good?
Well, they gave me a call. Some guy, Nate Burleson, if that's even a real name, called from the AFL Network.
What'd he call you? Smelly?
No, he called and said, "Stop being so good at this. You're making us professionals look bad." And I said, "Shut up, nerd."
Tasty.
That's my new favorite sounder. All right. All right. Well, that's it, folks. We appreciate you listening. We will be back next. Ooh, actually, hold on. Because I have to go work a week in Monoman, and I don't think the Monoman hotel Wi-Fi is going to cut it. I will be in Monoman next Tuesday. So either we'd have to... then I'm going to Duluth.
Don't even suggest it.
What's that? Suggest
Don't
what?
even suggest me doing it on my own. I'm not doing it.
What if I had Walters take my place for a week, and he put
I'd
out
quit.
a show?
Never come back.
So you went. What if Al hosted you?
Would he be able to do it? I know we don't do video anymore, but would he put on his war paint?
That's good. That's a good question. Yeah, obviously Al doesn't have to volunteer for anything, but I cannot host this show next week. So if Al or Walters want to volunteer, you can coordinate with Josh, and then at the end, just send me an MP3 file. I can upload it. Otherwise, we'll see you guys again in 2 weeks. Because yeah, next week I'm up in Monoman for 5 days, and then I come home and turn around to go to Duluth for Jesse, and then so I won't even have like free time on the weekend to do it. So next week is a wash for me.
Duluth for What happened to Jesse?
No, it was it's a baby shower. They had planned a baby shower for not this weekend, but the next weekend.
Oh, that happens before the baby usually. Or are they asking for help and you just didn't understand the invite?
No, Josh, the baby arrived early, is my understanding.
Oh, okay. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Jesse. Come help me wash my baby.
Oh shoot, the baby shower. I thought we were just cleaning toddlers. Shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic
Yeah,
Jesse.
that guy has a better record than me, so I'm just, just shoot me now.
Oh, I was even gonna say maybe we could sneak in the pod on Monday, but nope, I have Pathfinder next Monday. So yeah, next week I'm literally busy every night of the week. So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks unless Josh is comfortable enough to venture out with one of our former competitors, and we were the last man standing. All right, see you guys next week. Love you.
Go Packers. Go Packers.